Okay, so today I'm going to be doing a review of my Phantom Guitarworks Teardrop in tri-burst with tremolo, and I've been meaning to do this review for a very long time. Before I start, I just want to say I am not paid by Phantom Guitarworks. I have nothing to do with Phantom Guitarworks. I paid for this guitar with my own hard-earned money. I do not receive any kind of compensation or remuneration or anything like that. I have no sponsorship, and I'm not looking to get reviews or likes or subscribers or any of that kind of thing. I just want to provide some good information for anybody who might be interested in this guitar, because to be honest, even now, there aren't a lot of good reviews and information about this. So let me just say something about gear reviews for a minute. A very close friend of mine, who's a excellent guitarist, classically trained, um, he does gear reviews for one of the major magazines. So he wrote a gear review for some item, and I called him up. He gave it a very good review, and I called him up and I said, "Hey, I have some interest in this. I know you just reviewed it for the magazine. You gave it a really good review. What do you think?" And he said to me on the phone, "It's a POS," which, piece of. So I said, I don't understand how that could be. You just gave it this really glowing review. And he said, I know, but it's a POS. I said, then why did you write so many nice things about it? And he said, look, first of all, if I told the truth, the company that manufactured it would never advertise in a magazine. He said, and secondly, my editor would take the review article and send me back and make me write it in a much more positive way. The point of the story is this. I really don't believe the review articles that I read in magazines, nor do I believe a lot of the review videos that I see on YouTube, because in certain circumstances, the guys on YouTube are getting the instrument or pedal or whatever it is for free, and the companies are saying, here, write a review. Well, I don't think they're going to continue to get so many free products if they're writing bad reviews. Here I'm going to tell the 100% truth because I have absolutely nothing to lose. Just a couple of words about me because it does become relevant for this review. So I've been playing guitar since I'm about 12. I'm 63. There was a 15-year gap in my study because of college and grad school. I've taken lessons for many, many, many years. I consider myself basically an intermediate guitar player. I've played with some bands and things. And I own a lot of guitars. I own 45 guitars. You see some of them in the rack behind you, behind the Phantom. And I don't say it to brag. My guitars are mostly PRSs, Fenders, Gibsons. I think there's a Rickenbacker in there. I buy high quality instruments. The Fenders and the PRSs are all the USA ones. And I'm not saying this to brag. The point is that I know a little bit about guitars. So I do have some experience when I talk about reviews. I will say this, that my gear far exceeds my talent. So there's a story behind this guitar. I went to a Squeeze concert, who I really like, and the band that opened for them is a band called the English Beat. They're well known. And the guitarist in the English Beat had a Vox-style teardrop kind of guitar, like the one I bought from Phantom Guitarworks. And I said, wow, that is really cool. I might like to own that. So I did some research, and Phantom Guitarworks, the teardrop, as you see in front of you, they have it. So I called up. It's kind of a one-man show over there. The guy who owns it and runs it was the guitarist in the band Quarterflash. They had a hit song, I think, in the 80s or so. So if you call up, you speak to them or him directly. So I asked him about the guitar, and I said, is there a store where they carry it? I can go play it and check it out. No, it's not in any stores, nor was he going to the NAMM show. And I said, what if I get it and I don't like it? Can I return it? And what I was told was, yeah, you can return it within 30 days, but I would be responsible to pay the return shipping and there was a very large restocking fee. So large, like 35–40%, something like that. So large that I knew that if I purchased it, it was mine forever. It just wouldn't be financially feasible to return it. Well, that policy was the first red flag because, in my opinion, if you've got a high quality product that you really believe in, there should be no problem returning it if you're not satisfied. Now, just as an aside, there's a company out there called Eastwood Guitars. I have no affiliation with them whatsoever. And Eastwood specializes in making these quirky offbeat guitars. Their kind of deal is when you're tired of Gibson and Fender and PRS, try one of ours. And I do own a couple of Eastwood guitars, but I will tell you this. I got one from them and I didn't like it. And they have a policy. Play it for 30 days. You don't like it, send it back. We'll give you back all your money. You will pay the shipping. There's no restocking fee, no questions asked. And I did get a guitar from them that I did not like, and I returned it, and it was hassle-free. They gave me all my money back, no problem, just like they said. All right, so I purchased this guitar in 2013, right? So it's 12 years ago. Like I said, I've been meaning to do a review of this for a long, long, long time because there's not a lot of information out there. And in 2013, I paid $1,008 for it, and I got it with the case, and that's the case right there. I did as much research online as I could, and there wasn't much to read about with this guitar back in 2013 when I bought it. But I did find one small article that said that the sound or the tone of the pickups didn't sound very good. So I tucked that into the back of my mind when I bought it and realized that that might be an issue. Now, I'm going to fast forward just a little bit. I got the guitar and I took it to a gig. And when I played it at the gig, I got more compliments and comments on this guitar than any other gig that I've ever played. So that's really cool. But that's kind of where the positives end with this guitar. I love the look. I love the 1960s vibe. I really do. But when the guitar arrived, I opened it up and tuned it up, and I plugged it into my amp. Now, the amps that I use are all good quality tube amps. I've got a Twin Reverb and a Mesa Boogie, things like that, high quality stuff. And clean, it sounded terrible. Unusable. You couldn't take it out of the case and go play it at a gig. Just shrill and horrible. And when I put on distortion, it got even worse. Now, I just want to mention this is strictly my opinion. Other people may have different opinions on this guitar, but this is strictly my opinion of it. So I almost expected that from the article that I read, the bad sound. So I ran out and I purchased 3 DiMarzios for it. And that's what you're seeing in this video, the 3 DiMarzios in there. There's an Area 58, a virtual vintage, and a virtual solo. So that cost me another $185 or so for the pickups, and then another $100 or so for my luthier to install them. And when I did all that, I had a good sounding guitar. Kind of very roughly like a Stratocaster. So the appearance, I love. The tone was terrible. I looked on the website now, and it looks to me like when you're all done, this exact guitar that you're looking at would cost you $1,312. The guitar is $1,168. Now they're charging $65 for the bridge cover that you see there underneath the third pickup. Why, I don't know. And $79 for shipping. You can check their website. According to the website, the guitar weighs 7 pounds, 7 ounces. I will tell you this is a very heavy guitar. It weighs heavy on your neck, and because of the teardrop shape, it's not comfortable to play on your lap, right? You need to put the strap on if you're going to play it on your lap because of the rounded shape. There's just no body carve. The neck is kind of wide and slow. It's not a particularly fast neck, and it's not the most comfortable guitar to play. I suppose that the original Vox, at least from what I've read about these original Vox guitars, they didn't sound very good and weren't very well made either. When I spoke to the guy in charge there, and this is back in 2013, he explained to me that the components, the body and the neck, come from India, and it's assembled in the United States. The body, I think, is mahogany. I can't remember exactly what the neck is made of. It's on the website if you want to know. So, am I sorry that I bought this? Well, kind of. I still love the shape and the aesthetic of it and the fact that it captures that 1960s Vox vibe. I love that. Playability, not so great. Sound, terrible until I replaced the pickups. Can't really sit and practice with it on my lap comfortably. And in all the time that I own it, I have this since 2013, I play it very rarely just because it's heavy, uncomfortable, and just not my favorite guitar. Now, in my opinion, at a current price altogether of about $1,312, there are other guitars that would represent a lot better value for the money. For example, you could get PRS SE in this price range. You could get American-made Fenders in this price range. In fact, I just saw one on a major retailer site the other day. You could get used guitar in this price range that I think would be a much higher quality instrument. So is it worth it? Well, to me, no. But that's up for you to decide. If you are hell-bent on having a Vox-style guitar like this, certainly go ahead, but do it with the understanding that you're most likely going to have to change the pickups if you want something that sounds good at the end. Hope this information was helpful to anybody out there considering this guitar. One more thing, here's the case next to it. The case is fine, except that handle there has no padding on it. It's extremely uncomfortable and digs into your hand. So not super impressed with this. Really couldn't recommend it. I don't think the value is there for the money, but boy, do I love the aesthetics and that shiny chrome plate that are showing my pajama pants in the reflection. Okay, thanks for taking the time to listen. I hope this information was helpful, and everybody take good care. Bye-bye.